Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right, so let's talk about the refund anticipation loans today, you guys. So, so right now, when you see this during this recording, okay, because I do post my replays up on YouTube. So right now, we are going through a government shutdown, okay? And, one of the functions that goes away during the government shutdown is the issuing of tax refunds, okay? It does not change your filing dates and all of that. You still got to file. And if you have a tax liability, you still got to pay. However, if there's a government shutdown going on, during tax season, refunds may not be happening, okay? So with that comes the refund anticipation loan. And sometimes it's, during a government shutdown, okay, I totally get it. But there are sometimes that people are just impatient and get these refund anticipation loans. So I want to talk about it. Is it a good idea? Is it not? That's something that you have to decide for yourself. But I want to make sure that you go in being an informed consumer, all right? And that you're not just doing what's always been done because that's what we've always done. And that doesn't mean that it's always a good idea. Because what I see every year is people, doing doing the tax season boss out, right? It's January. Ooh, I've already got my tax refund and all this other stuff. You go and boss out and buy ridiculous stuff that you don't even need because all of a sudden you have this windfall of money that, there's probably the most money you see at one time all year. Okay. So I want to talk about the whole phenomenon of the refund anticipation loan and really educate you on what's happening. All right. So who normally gets refund anticipation loans? These are our lower income earners or people we call the working poor. These are the people that normally receive the earned income tax credit, which is our highest paying credit, which earned income tax credit alone can be up to $6,000. And that's not including the child tax credit and all that, right? So it can be a credit up to $6,000. And so this is why people are like lacing up their shoes right now because that W-2 is coming at any moment. As soon as I get that W-2 in my hot little hands, I'm going to file my taxes so I can get my tax refund. Okay. So this is the working poor. Now, the Center on Budget and, Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. I always get that name wrong. It's the CBPP, all right? They published a study in 2017, in the fall of 2017, that looked at what do the people that receive the earned income tax credit, what do you do with those refunds? You go and pay rent. And the study showed that if eviction rates fall dramatically when the earned income tax credit refunds start to hit, okay? The other thing is that they pay off high interest payday loans, or they're also paying off these refund anticipation loans, okay? So that's where this money is going. And so it's also going to pay off other household bills, like the bills that you run up for Christmas because it's Christmas and then you're waiting, like impatiently to get this refund to pay off these bills. Okay. So that is where the money is going. But here's the deal. When you're getting these refund anticipation loans, it is a service. I'm not knocking the service at all, but you got to understand what you're giving up in order to get this refund anticipation loan. Because really, a lot of times the refund anticipation loans are considered predatory based on the fees that you have to pay to get them. What happens is people look at it and say, okay, well, it might be $100. It might be, $70 or whatever it is, right? But, they're looking at the amount of money, but not really looking at the overall APR. So the overall APR on a refund anticipation loan can be as high as 235%. Okay. Like really. So, but what happens is people look at the dollar amount that's leaving. And not even that, right? Because when you go to places that offer these refund anticipation loans, a lot of times, I'm not saying always, but a lot of times you're paying higher tax preparation fees. You're paying an administrative fee to the person, and you're also paying for some people that get a check, You're also going to have to pay a fee to cash a check, right? Because there are some times where people have credit so bad they can't even open a bank account. So if they can't get some kind of debit card, like a prepaid debit card, then they get a check. And then they got to go to a check cashing place. And then they got to give up another percentage of their refund in order to get the rest of their refund. So when you put all that math together, that is a lot of money. I have seen tax fees for people that have gotten the earned income tax credit. The tax preparation fee alone is as high as $800. And you're thinking, oh, well, if I'm getting an $8,000 refund, what's $800? Well, I'll have to ask you, what could you pay for with $800? Right? $800, that's a car payment. That can be part of a mortgage payment. That can be some rent. That could be some lunch money. That could be something, right? Besides paying all of these fees. So when you're getting these refund anticipation loans, really look at the fees and really look at what you're paying, right? And then ask yourself, if somebody paid me this amount of money to do something different, would I do it? And a lot of times the answer is yes. And so this is what I want to talk about, like what you're doing with your money. So when you get your earned income tax credit and all of that stuff, right? When you get this refund, what are you doing with your money? Why not discipline yourself to save some of this money? Because like I said, we go do the tax season boss out, right? We go see the new bag, we go get the new TV, all this other foolishness that brings no wealth or anything into your life. And then when you have a $500 emergency, you have no money. Because see, it's not if it rains, it will rain. And will you be prepared? So what I encourage you to do this year, okay? If you are in this place where you have to get a refund anticipation loan, because quite honestly, we don't know how long the government shutdown is going to take. I don't know how long it's going to take for our government to play nice in the sandbox. And this is not an invitation for anybody to bash one administration, one party, and all of that stuff. It's just that our government, who represents all of us, whether we like them or not, is not playing well in the sandbox right now. And so how long is that going to take? Really have no idea. So there will be people who really do need this money who will get these refund anticipation loans. You know what? And it's going to help a lot of people. Like I said, I'm not knocking it at all. But what I am knocking is that as a consumer, that you are not going in making an educated decision and also doing what's necessary to not put yourself in that same position next year. Okay. I had this one client, you guys, and I wanted to just turn backflips. Okay. She talked to me way at the beginning of the year and asked me for a quote. When I talked to her last week, and she said, hey, I went ahead and saved this money so that I could go ahead and pay you for my tax preparation. I was like, what? You need to write a book. You need to hold a master class or something, right? So while you're, if you're in that position this year, here's what I encourage you to do. Go ahead, get your refund anticipation loan. Okay. Now, because if you need that money, you need that money because you got to eat, you got to have a roof. Okay. But understand that you need to now be looking at your plan for next year, because guess what? Did you know that tax season come every year? Did you know that? Holy cow. So start preparing for the next year. And see, then the other flip side is this. Oh my gosh, what if something happens and your refund gets held? Okay? Because it happens. If you owe for child support, if you owe for student loans, if you owe something to your state, that federal refund can be held. And so then if you don't pay that loan back, which it's a high interest loan, you guys, it really is. It's a high interest loan. If that money doesn't get paid back, then yeah, it's going to hurt your credit even more. So you got to know what it is that you're doing. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. And because it's such a high risk, for a business owner, for a tax preparation company, it is a high risk. This is why you pay those higher fees. And so when you broke, you pay more. I want you to get that. When you are broke and you have poor credit, you pay more for the services you receive. That's the truth. And so now, if you listen to this video and you know that, and you don't make a change for next year, then your blood is on your own hands. It's not on my hands, because I'm telling you what you're getting yourself into. I'm telling you this year, really look at the math. Really look at what you're paying. Look at it. And then ask yourself, if somebody paid me this amount of money to do something different for next year, would I do it? If the answer is yes, then you need to make a change. Because I don't know about you, but I like getting all my coins. If I'm getting a refund, I want all my coins, as many of them as possible. Right? But if you're paying, you want to pay as less as possible too. Right? So that is, that's the long and short of it. A refund anticipation loan is a loan against your tax refund. It is a high interest loan. It costs money. Okay. It costs money, and all of those fees. And see, this is the convenience part, right? I'm going to say this. This is the convenience part, because you know how when you go to a convenience store, like if you go to a grocery store to buy a gallon of milk, it can be like $3. But when you go to the convenience store, it's $5. It's because you're paying for that convenience. Well, when it's the convenience of taking your tax preparation fee and all these other fees, that convenience of taking it out of your refund instead of you paying it up front, that convenience costs. So that's what you got to look at. What is the cost? What are you really giving up in order to get your money sooner? Okay. When you're making an educated decision, that's one thing. But when you're just doing it just because I just want my money now, and this is what we've always done every year, we going to get this money, we going to go and boss out and all that stuff. I'm going to need for you to stop and actually consciously interrupt that pattern and really ask yourself some tough questions. Okay. So that's it for me for today for Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come in here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right, have a great day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.